All I'm thinking about when I meet someone is, oh, I'm white and she's not white and I'm white and she's not white. Like, that for me, that's like what focusing on race is.
Okay, first of all, your panic is not warranted. Secondly, your panic has led not to racial awareness, but a kind of racial preoccupation. And what you seem to be preoccupied with is centering whiteness, identifying the other person as white or not white. And none of this is what I am picturing when I am calling for racial awareness. All right, well, if that's not racial awareness, which clearly it is not, what am I looking for? Here's an example. I'm going out of town for a week, and I need to decide which of my friends I'm going to ask to keep an eye on my house while I'm gone. This will mostly consist of stopping by each evening to feed my dog. Now, probably the first things I'll think about are, who would I trust a key to? Who's the most honest and reliable of my friends? And that's a perfect starting point. That's completely appropriate. Here's the thing. If I live in a predominantly white neighborhood, and it's one of my black friends I'd like to ask to do this, I do need to consider the implications of that. Would coming over to my house in the evening when it's dark be a safe thing to ask them to do? Out here on TikTok, I get a lot of pushback from other white people when I talk about racial awareness. So I thought it would be helpful simply to provide an example of the type of thing I was picturing. I hope this shows that I'm not asking for anything big or bad or oppressive to either person involved. In fact, it's just the opposite. It's the responsible thing to do, the respectful thing to do. So someone came back at me and said, if I can't have my black friends over, clearly I'm living in the wrong neighborhood. And part of me kind of likes that response. But the truth is, that's a very shallow understanding of the situation. It's a little more involved than that. There definitely is something attractive about this approach. Perhaps in the scenario that I presented, I'm in the process of moving, or perhaps it's not financially feasible for me to move right now. But there's something else I think that I should consider. Am I so sure that I have a good read on the situation, that I'm even aware whether my neighborhood is safe for black people and other people of color? After all those white neighbors of mine have been interacting with me as a white man. So unless race has come up in conversation, or maybe they're cutting their lawns with their KKK hoods on, I might not know for sure. Someone else accused me of tiptoeing around racists. Check it out. Okay, so I didn't say this. And one way I know for sure that I didn't say this is if you go back and rewatch my video, you'll see that I actually did not suggest a certain course of action or solution. All I was saying is that there's a certain dynamic that you should take into consideration. That said, I might understand where you're coming from. After all, if I then choose one of my white friends because I'm concerned about my neighbors and how they'll react to my black friend coming over, it will feel pretty rotten. It will feel like the neighbors won. And I think maybe that's where you're coming from here. But here's what I do know for sure. If I'm going to address my neighbor's racism, if I'm going to confront them about that, I need to do that under completely different circumstances. I should not be using my black friend as a weapon against my neighbors or as a tool to make a point or to teach them something. But what do you think?